All right, you guys, it's time for the pre-market post-wave report for Sunday, September the 11th, 2022. And we're just going to jump right into it because we have several charts to go over. So here you go. Here's the first one. All right, the first one is the Australian dollar. So we have a buy signal on this one for tonight into tomorrow's trading. The bulls have the edge here, thinking this market wants to try to get back up into the Kumo cloud and then get above it. So our initial target going into this is going to be around between 69 and 70. So we'll see what happens. But that's what we're looking for as our initial target. I think this one wants to get up and out of the Kumo cloud. Next up, we have the Canadian dollar, keeping with the forex side of things. And to start this one off, the bulls have the edge on this one. Even though the market is in a corrective position right now, the bulls do have the advantage. We hit a new weekly low in the Canadian dollar, but the trend is still bullish. And as you know, all corrections in this market tend to get bought. So I don't think this time is going to be any different. So on this one, we're looking to get long to start the week on the Canadian dollar. Next up is the euro yen. So the euro yen has a sell signal. So the nod here goes to the bears. Even though you're in a bull market, this is a breakout candidate, meaning the market could possibly break down, but it could also possibly relock in on the bull side and break out. So we'll see what happens. All right, we got our marching orders. If you go to Dex's watch list on your dashboard, you'll see how we're going to play this one. All right, next up we have Bitcoin, the Bitcoin futures. So because Bitcoin exploded over the weekend, it's possible that this market will gap up on the open, only to start, correcting a little bit. Don't know if the gap will be filled same day or not. You are hitting this bottom of the Kumo cloud resistance. But again, right now the bulls have the edge, even though you're still in a bear market. So we'll see if the bears come in and try to sell the rally. But right now I'm going to have to go with the bulls on this one. I think they have the edge going to start the week off. Next up, we have Ethereum. Ethereum, right now, the bulls have the edge in this one, as this one looks to want to run. This has a more bullish indication than Bitcoin. So really eyeing the Ethereum to start the week off here. Next up, we have the crypto side of the pond, ADA Cardano. ADR Cardano, the nod goes to the bulls here with the edge. I think this one's going to try to break out of the Kumo cloud. So initial target at 55, but I think this one has the potential to get as high as at least 70 on the first leg of this run. So we'll see what happens, but the edge is definitely going to the bulls on this one. And you are in the bubble box on the bear side, which means that breakout is imminent, and you need to be careful and watch for that. Next up is a Litecoin to start the week off. The nod goes to the bulls here as well. And this one is also in the devil's box on the bear side. So we do expect explosive rally at any moment. So this one, the nod goes to the bulls. Next up is THETA. All right, so THETA, the nod goes to the bulls. We got a rally alert for tonight and tomorrow's trading. I think this one can get back to $1.50 or higher, and I think that it could stage a nice bear market rally. So looking for this one to do what it do as well. I think the edge is going to go to the bulls on this one. Looking at XRP Ripple to start the week off, the nod goes to the bulls as the bulls have the momentum here. I think the market just needs to push back above the Kumo cloud, which should be easy now that the cloud is flattened out. It could spell very strong resistance, but if the market can get above it, it's also a very strong bullish sign. And because you are in the devil's box, we expect explosive rally that could be trend changing. All right, we're looking at a possibility of a major algo shift, which means we'll go from a bearish to bullish perspective. Next up is copper. All right, so looking at copper here, this is the ticker COPX, the copper ETF. They have the edge to the bulls to start the week off. I'm going to give the initial target between $34 and $35 on the initial leg. And then from there, this market has the potential to get back into the 40s. So we'll see if copper can do something. Next up, we have the Dow, all right, by way of DIA, the diamonds. And the nod goes to the bears. Right now, even though you've ceased, dropping in price, but there's a high probability that the bears are going to sell the rally that we ended the week with. So this one's definitely on alert as well, but the nod goes to the bears. Next up is the gold miners by way of GDXJ. All right, so the nod goes to the bulls to start the week out, but we are right near that bottom of the Kumo cloud here is a key resistance zone, and I think that's worth mentioning and watching out for. And that will be around the $32 level. So if the market can get above that on a nice strong close, the next target will be the top of the Kumo cloud, which is around the $36 handle. Next up, we have gold by way of ticker GLD. The nod goes to the bulls to start the week out. We do have a rally alert to start the week out here in gold. If it can get its legs, between 165 and 170 should be the initial target on the first leg. So this could be a very interesting one. Has gold bottom? After hitting a new fresh 52-week low, it is a possibility that it will happen. So we shall see. Next up is the Russell My Hustle by way of ticker IWM. And the nod goes to the bulls to start the week off. We have a rally alert on this one for tonight into tomorrow's trading. Looks like this market has the potential to relock in on the bullish momentum side, and we could see a change in trend and perspective. All right, so this is an interesting one. We'll see. But on the IWM, I think the initial target should be between 200 and 205. So this could be setting up for something interesting. Next up is real estate by way of ticker IYR. And the nods go to the bears right now. Unfortunately, to this one, it is what it is. Next up, we have oil by way of ticker OIH. And the nod to this one is going to no one. You are trapped in the Kumo cloud of consolidation and confusion, and you're caught in a trading range. It's going to be hard for this market to break out of. So this one is neutral going in to start the week. Looking at now Palladium. To start the week out, we got the nod going to the bulls as we're expecting a continuation pattern to the upside. So we'll see what happens here. But right now, the bulls have the perspective and the bias in the market. Next up, we have platinum. And to start the week out, looks like we're going to get a nod to the bulls. However, we're right here bumping up against the bottom of the Kumo cloud, which is not usually a good thing. So between the $82.50 and $83, that's a resistance zone. But if the market can get a good strong close above it, then we have a good possibility to open the door up to run the top of the Kumo cloud and get out and break out topside to 87, thus solidifying the bullish momentum. And the possibility now will open to stage that explosive rally, since you are in the bearish bubble box or the devil's triangle. And that's typically means that the bear market could be coming to an end. Very interesting possibilities here. Next up is the NASDAQ 100 by way of QQQ or the cubes. And the nod goes to the bulls to start the week off with a rally alert for tonight into tomorrow's trading for the NASDAQ 100 futures. So this should be very interesting. I think this market's wide open. If we do get that rally started, I think this one has the potential to get back up to the 350s or even higher. Next up is silver by way of ticker SLV. The nod's going to go to the bulls for this one as well to start the week off. The bottom of the Kumo cloud is coming into play, and that is going to be around the $18 mark. So we'll just call resistance at $18. If we can get a good strong close above it, this market could break out back up into the 20s. So is silver ready to run? That's a very good question for tonight and tomorrow's trading to start the week off. Next up is the S&P 500. It's very similar to the Dow in that we have to give the nod to the bears to start the week off. And there's a red alert because the bears could come in and start selling the rally. Now, the good news about the stock indices is that they tend to move together in the same direction. However, there are times where there is a disconnect and the one or more of the indices can pull away. Typically, it's like one that will do it. The NASDAQ tends to lead the market, and so does the Russell. And then other times it's the Dow, but the S&P is the little sister of the Dow. It really doesn't lead the market. So you always have in this musical chairs. Is it going to be the Dow leading? Is it going to be the NASDAQ? Is it going to be the Russell? But the NASDAQ and Russell have been known to diverge against all the other indices. I point you to the direction of 2007 leading into 2008 before the financial crisis hit. The NASDAQ was bucking the trend while all the other indices was hitting new contract highs or all-time highs. The NASDAQ 100 was not. All right. So, right. And that was a telltale sign. We knew that something was wrong, that the rallies were not real because the NASDAQ was not participating at all. And then when the situation happened in the fall of 2008, of course, the news story was, financial crisis. But from a technical perspective, from the algo charts, regardless of the reason, we already knew that the rallies were doomed. The market was those markets were already in the bubble box and the devil's triangle. So we knew that the reversal was imminent at some point and that it would be massive. That's what happens when you get into the devil's triangle. The markets go through an extensive algo shift. And what happens when those algo shifts happen, they're very, very powerful. All right. But they are rare in that they don't happen all the time. You got to be totally in the bubble. You got to be in the triangle for it to happen. So look for it to happen here at some point. Not in the S&P, though. This is not in the box at all. Just giving you an idea. But we're still in a bear market. So the trend is still bearish. Momentum is bearish. And it hasn't broken out of that cycle like the NASDAQ 100 and the Russell have. So the question is the NASDAQ 100 and or the Russell leading the Dow and the S&P? Or is it the other way around? We shall see. All right, next up is the bond market, which we know is also broken because of the Fed and money printing. But the nod right here goes to neither. All right, you have a bear market with bullish momentum, but you are a breakout candidate, meaning that this one could break out or break down. It could go either way. All right, so this one is on the watch list as a breakout candidate. We just don't know which way it's going to go. So it's basically a neutral call, but we're going to give the nod to the bulls. All right, next up we have nat gas by way of ticker UNG. All right, so nat gas, the nod's going to go to the bulls for this one. And you are in the beast box. Therefore, we know that a algo shift is imminent. All right. At some point, it's going to come. And when it comes, it's going to be massive, very massive. This obviously was not it because the market's still in the box and hasn't come off. But later on, as time goes on, if the market does correct, in the short term, then this will be the key initial warning right here. But for now, the nod goes to the bulls. We're above the Kumo cloud. You're in a bull market, and you are in the devil's box in the bull market bubble of things. So at some point, it has to stop. Next up, we have our last chart of the day, which is the US dollar index. Okay. So here's what's setting up here. This has been in a bull market, and the nod has been going to the bears who have been keeping the market subdued, and you did hit a new weekly low. So the nod is definitely going to the bears to start this week out. Remember, you're in the bubble box, so this could easily start to come apart. This could easily turn in from a pullback to a full-blown correction to a full-blown algo shift. All right. And that pops the bubble, and it changes the trend from bullish to bearish. So the dollar is on extreme alert to start the week off, and the bears do have the nod. Therefore, if we get a follow-through, if we get a confirmation of this, a dropping, falling dollar is bullish for commodities. All commodities, okay? All commodities. But keep in mind that some commodities are weird, specifically your metals and also your oil. Okay, so let me explain. Okay, so metals and or oil tends to act like a commodity, like it should, because it is a commodity, but it also tends to act like a currency, because that's why oil is called black gold. All right. And that's why we get the term petrodollar. So oil tends to move like money, and gold and silver historically for the last 5,000 years have been also considered money. So sometimes gold and silver move as a currency rather than a commodity, just like oil does. So for oil is the most gangster market on the planet. So we hit new fresh 52-week highs, and the market is now on watch for an algo shift from a bull market to a bear market. But because the United States has not been a capitalist country for decades, it's now an interventionist economy. Free market capitalism is not allowed to rule the day. It's not allowed to happen at all. It's an interventionist economy, okay, where it's controlled by the Fed, not the Treasury, but the Fed. The Fed controls the American economy. All right. So because of that, people blame capitalism because of the failures of the central banking system. It's not capitalism that has failed. Capitalism, free market capitalism, has never been allowed to thrive or to even happen. So people blame capitalism for the corruption that they see due to government interference and interventionism. And they say, see, capitalism doesn't work. Free market capitalism is the superior way to go, and it does work when governments allow it to work. All right. So socialism is not the answer, nor is Marxism, nor is communism, which all lead to that, which is totalitarianism. Dictatorships don't work either. Now, of course, the highest form is the benevolent dictator, but we don't have a King David on the throne, and Christ has not yet cracked the sky for his second coming. So we will not have a benevolent dictator until that happens. Therefore, dictatorship is not the way to go. totalitarian government is not the way to go. Man is fallen, sinful, and depraved. Therefore, he will always be a sinner. He will always seek the way of corruption. And so there is no perfect form of government and no perfect economy because of it. But the next best thing we can have is free market capitalism, but no one's allowing it to happen. So we're going to have this war of words, and those that are in power, elected and or otherwise, will continue to try to sway things in their perspective. And right now, believe it or not, the evil people are winning. So what do we see in the short term? I see the possibility of a rally in the stock market to last us until the end of the year, possibly going into next year. I think that is the best scenario that they are trying to push for. That gives them more time to move certain things in place and, drop the hammer first week January 2023. So unless something happens to stop that, we're in an area that is really messed up, because either the market is going to utterly crash from here, or we're going to rally to the end of the year. If the market crashes first, there will be no end of the year rally. There will be no Santa Claus rally, and the first week of January will be catastrophic. I can't even begin to go there with you. So the best scenario to allow some kind of sense of normalcy would be to allow the stock market to rally into the end of the year. All the Fed has to do is cheerlead and promise to do good things. And all the White House has to do is promise to allow these things to happen, and the market will rally. Everyone will get their Christmas rally, and no one will be the wiser. Everyone will think that we've turned a corner, everything's okay. And then when the gloves come off in January, everyone's in shock and awe. So that is my take on what is to come. We'll see if the markets bear me out. The good thing, though, about the PulseWave reports is that it gives you the likely scenario for the next trading session, but it also gives you a way out. It lets you know what to do, what you're looking to do, and even if the system is wrong, it has you set up to make money even if and when you're wrong. So it's a very powerful tool in that regard. So I can't stress it enough. You need to take the 14-day free trial. No money up front, 14-day free trial. See how much money you can make with us in the next 14 days trying the system for free. And with that being said, smash that like button. And remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I'm out. Peace.